Hi there. In this video I'm going to show you how I would go about digitizing a text-based logo. Well, digitizing logos, there's no one formula that's going to work for every logo, so we're just going to try a very basic logo that's text-based. And the reason why I'm saying text-based, and most logos do have some sort of text in them, is it'll give me an opportunity to show you how I would digitize with columns. Okay, so the logo that we're going to use is my family's business that started a long time ago, and it's called Nomex. So I'm going to head over to their website, and I'm just going to screenshot this image right here. So on a Mac, I can do Apple Shift Control and the number 4, and I'm going to just grab it like that, and then go over to Embrilliance and do Command V and paste it. Now that's super teeny tiny. So I want to scale it up to about the size that I'm actually going to be stitching it. Let's say these were for polos, and so perhaps the total width that I want the logo to be is about, let's say, 3 inches? Seems about right. Okay, so I'm going to select it and I'm going to scale it. Now I don't want to distort it, so if I hold down Shift, it will scale proportionally. And I can use my grid boxes here to get it to be about 3 inches. So if I look at where the N is and where that's a little over 3. So 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more. All right, now I'm going to zoom in. We can use the navigator here to zoom in, and I like to work about like that. A good standard is about 6x for zooming in. Oh, that's 6x. That makes it a lot easier. So I am going to use jump over to digitizing mode. That's not what it's called. Create mode, sorry. And the tool I'm going to use is this guy right here, is columns, because this is text. Now this takes a little bit of practice. Let's get this guy out of the way. But what we're going to do is, I probably can do this just in one column. So columns, the way they work is you click here, there, here, there. You're defining the width again and again and again and again and again and again, like that. Okay, so you go back and forth. That's how you create a column. Now, some areas of a column may be very straight, like these 2 corners right here, and then some may be curvy. So if you control click, you're going to get a corner point, but if you don't control click, you're going to get more of a curve, and then we can go back and modify those points. All right, so let me just go ahead and get started, and this is pretty clearly a corner, so I'm just going to hit control and click and click and click, click. This is more curvy, and of course, it's not totally perfect, but that's okay because I can, and I'm going to go back and hold down control here, and then at the bottom I'll hit control again. Okay, and when I'm done, I'm just going to hit return. Now that's not totally perfect, but that's okay because I can kind of move these little points around and have them better define my area. Now these yellow bars control the direction of the stitches, so I might want to mess with those a little bit if they look a little bit wonky. And again, like I said, there's not a real science to it. You just kind of move your points around, and if you need to change one type of a point from a corner to a curve or vice versa, you can right click on that point and you have an option to change it. Now actually I don't want to change any of my points because this is pretty simple and I feel like I got it right. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next. Now this time with the O here, I probably don't have, I'm not going to have a lot of hard lines, so let's just start and just define that column. Now sometimes with a shape like this and you're creating columns, Embrilliance gets a little confused if you kind of overlap Like for example, if I overlap my starting point, I might get some wonkiness there, but I've found that if you just move your points around and kind of get rid of that overlap, you can easily fix it. Now here is well, actually it doesn't look that bad. This seems like it should be more flat right here. So I'm going to click this and I'm going to right click and I'm going to say cusp. Now what a cusp will do is it allows me to kind of make sort of a curve on one side of the point and a straight on the other. So let's make this a cusp too. Okay, looks pretty good. All right, let's move that up a little bit. Now so far I've been able to create my letters just with one column, which has been pretty simple and easy. But with a letter like M, I probably can't do that. So what let's make the first part of the M, and again I'm going to hold down Control down here because this is straight, and I'll do that straight, straight, curve, more curve here, curve, and you see I'm just going back and forth. All right. I'm just going to Control click. I don't know how this is going to look, but just go with it for now. And let's see how that looks. It's not horrible. I might move that up a little bit. And I want to turn this into a curve. I can't do that because this is not a cusp. So I'll make this a cusp, and then I'll get those handles so I can make that more curved. Now I need to do the other part of my M. So I'll just go ahead and do that. And I'm going to overlap them a little bit just so I don't have a gap in my letter. And see how that looks. And now I'm going to go back to corner points here. All right, that looks a little wonky right there, so we'll move that point in, but otherwise okay. Now my M is comprised of 2 points, of 2 columns. I want them to be stitched kind of together, not so I don't have a big jump stitch in there. So what I can do is I can select these 2, and I'm going to hold down Shift to select 2, and I'm going to click on this button here, and this is a branching tool. So what it does is now you see that it's changed. Now it says, okay, I'm going to stitch this all together. This is the start point and this is the end point. One thing I forgot to do is that I actually want this part to be tucked under that part. So I need to change the order of these 2 guys. Okay, because I want that to be hidden under this nice curve. So I'll Shift select them again, and then I will branch them, and then I have my nice shape. Okay, continuing on, I'll probably do something kind of similar with my A. I might be able to do the A all in one shape, we'll see. All right, so I will Control click here, here, and then I'll start doing curves. Curves, curve. All right, now let's see how that looks. There we go. Okay, not horrible. Might want to make a few little adjustments here and there. But now I have my A. Okay, and this looks a little wonky right here. I want to make this a cusp so that I can get a handle and bring that curve out. All right. And this looks a little bumpy right there, so we'll make, instead of a curve, we'll make this, I'm going to right click and make it a cusp so I can bring that handle in and get that straighter shape along the back. All right, just one more letter. Do I like the direction? Yeah, see, I have this weirdness. Let's zoom in a little bit here. And you can see, this is one of the problems I see here, is that my stitch inclination lines are overlapping, and I don't like that. So let's just straighten that out. And now they're not overlapping anymore. Okay, maybe too much of a curve here. Bring that down just a smidge. All right. Now, I mean, we can go crazy fussing over every little detail with this, but in reality, it'll probably look fine. Oh, what is this inclination line? That is weird. Okay, nope, not that one. It's this one right here. That looks ridiculous. That should be like that. Okay, that looks better. Move that down a little bit. All right, that's much better. Okay, now let's move on to X. One trick for panning, kind of moving over in your design, is just to hold down the space bar and you get this little hand here, and works great. So I'm going to do the same thing. Control click, because this is some sharp edges, and I don't know why that came up. And then that was an easy shape to digitize. And let's do the other two parts. And I don't want to have all of this thickness in the middle, so I'm going to just do this part. Okay, might fix my inclination lines there. And then we'll do this part. Control click, control click. Okay. All right, well, now I have 3 more letters here, the I and C. I can do those. Actually, I already did the N, so I just could copy it. Oh, before I go too far, let's branch this last X, and I want the long straight piece to be on top of the other 2 little pieces, so I'll shift select all these and branch it. Okay, let's just stitch it out as Nomax and see how that looks, although it wouldn't take me much longer to finish digitizing the whole thing, but we'll just see how the Nomax part looks. So let's start stitching. So here it is all stitched out, and you can see I've got those nice wide satin stitches spanning the entire span of the letter form. I think it looks pretty good.